Now it's time for today's perspective, and the aim is to try to draw attention to the erasure of Iran's irreplaceable heritage. It's Iranian archaeologists who've come together to try to preserve the memory of the Iranian people and their achievements amid the constant bombing by the US and Israel. They've produced an interactive map. It shows the locations of sites that have been damaged so far, even though the experts say the verified cases represent only a fraction of the destruction as the war continues. Well, joining us now is one of those behind the map, senior researcher and lecturer at Goethe University Frankfurt, founding member as well of the Society for Iranian Archaeology, Sepideh Maziar. Thanks very much for being with us on the programme. I mean, just as we come to you, in fact, we're just getting a wire coming into us. This is from Iranian state media saying US-Israeli strikes damage a religious site in Iran's northwest.
That's so true. I mean, it's not just only the religious building, but also the cultural heritage site and the world. I mean, the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage sites, such as Golestan Palace in Tehran or Meydan Naqsh Jahan in Isfahan or Chehel Sotun. And it looks like that despite the Hague, actually 1954 convention that clearly state that all parties in the conflict actually should actually prevent any damages to cultural heritage site. But none of the parties, non-Israeli nor US, actually are respecting these laws.
Yeah, while you're talking, we're going to show some images of some of the sites that we've already shown here on France 24 that have been damaged. I mean, how bad, how widespread do you think this damage is at this stage of the war?
Actually, I mean, so far we have gathered information about 94 actual sites, but the Ministry of Cultural Heritage and Tourism and Handicrafts in Tehran, they stated that so far 130 cultural heritage sites, including the registered UNESCO cultural heritage sites and also national cultural heritage sites, were damaged. And we have like 3 levels, like destroyed, major damage, and also minor damage. So far, 2 cultural heritage monuments were completely destroyed. One of them is like, for instance, Senat Palace, which is like a symbol of modern era of Iran, and also a very important historical event, the constitutional movement and revolutions. And they targeted directly, actually, this building and destroyed completely. And the other ones are, as I said, the UNESCO actually World Heritage sites, such as the Golestan Palace. And all of these sites actually experienced major damage to different parts of the structures, building, decorative elements, mirror works. But the other ones, like the majority actually are like minor damages, but even damage that appears superficial, such as damages to decorative elements like mirrorwork, can lead also to serious structural deterioration if not restored.
You've given us some images yourself of some of the damage that's been done. Some of these images we've brought out of our library, but this is the Chehel Sotun Palace, some images which you've sent in to us. I mean, tell us why you particularly wanted to draw attention to these.
Actually, the cultural heritage does not belong only to one nation or one government. It belongs to all humanity. And when cultural heritage is destroyed, part of human history disappears and is lost forever. And that is why international awareness is critically important. The media attention and public awareness, we hope that can help prevent further destructions. And we hope that this actual information can also help international organizations like UNESCO, Blue Shield, or Amina at Oxford University. And more broadly, actually, this work is about preserving historical memory, as you mentioned, during war.
And you came up with the idea, didn't you, not only to take these images to make sure it's registered, but to actually put them onto an interactive map. Tell us about the idea behind that.
Actually, we want people have, doesn't matter what is the story, if this where located these sites. Actually, this project is our way to protect cultural heritage by documenting what is happening. And we want our users have a kind of vivid experience, scrolling through the maps, find the locations. And as you said, the website, because of that, is an interactive map where users can see damaged sites, the location, the cultural significance, and also the scale of damage with photos. So the platform is public and open access, and even people can also share their stories and memories related to these sites. And here I want to welcome anybody who were or have been actually at these sites or had any kind of experience with them to share this, their stories with us. So it's a kind of visual platform showing that Iran's cultural heritage and identity are at risk. And our main goal, as I said, is like documentation, the transparency, and raising the international awareness.
Can it be difficult to verify? I mean, obviously you're working with a team of other people as well, but you're there in Frankfurt, obviously a long way away from where these attacks are. How do you go about verifying the attacks that you hear about?
Yeah, we had actually serious challenges regarding gathering this information because unfortunately, due to the internet shutdown in Iran, we couldn't have any kind of access to our colleagues in Iran, or also when I was searching, for instance, to gather information about these damaged sites. All of the Persian websites were blocked and inaccessible, which made it very difficult actually to gather information, even to verify the reports and understand the scale of the damage. But fortunately, first of all, I should thank our colleagues in Iran that despite all the threats, the missiles, they do their jobs, and since the beginning of the war, they have actually gathered the information, published actually official reports about the name of the site, the scale of the damage of many of them. And actually with this database, we have actually, it enabled us to create this website. But I should actually note that unfortunately, this list, which includes 130 sites, it includes just the buildings, the monumental historical buildings, and not any kind of archaeological site. And as archaeologists who surveyed many sites and many areas in Iran, I know that many of these military spots that was targeted, they were located on archaeological sites, specifically on the border areas because of their height. And definitely most of them, unfortunately, were destroyed. But we have no reports or we do not hear about these archaeological sites. And that's a serious challenge. And I hope that when internet restore and get back and we have like access to our colleagues in Iran, the rate and the number of the damages will be much higher and greater than this.
As an archaeologist, living obviously not in Iran yourself, I mean, has it helped you, has it helped your colleagues emotionally to feel like you're doing something to help, even if it's in a small way, to help your brothers and sisters and family and friends at home?
I mean, definitely, it was a kind of, for me and my colleagues, Dr. Mehnoush Asroush, she is based on the Center of Ancient Middle Eastern Landscape, and we together actually create this website. For both of us as Iranian archaeologists, it was a kind of therapy because we were so frustrated, I mean, during the last weeks, and day by day, the news of destructions became very overwhelming. So as archaeologists, we felt we had to do something within our capacity. And because our responsibility is not just only to study the past, but also to protect it. And this was a kind of actually within our capacity to document this actually damages, and it helped us as well that we have this kind of feeling that we are doing also something to protect our cultural heritage.
And just time to say, I mean, presumably what's vital now is for this to come to an end as soon as possible to protect as many sites as possible.
Yeah, we hope so, actually, with this interactive map. And I'm very happy to say that so far, I mean, it's been like a week that the site is like officially announced. And so far, we have 2,500 visitors of the site. And I hope that with actually this kind of activity, we get like higher international awareness, and like international organizations, experts, and the public, like we raise awareness and encourage and strengthen actual protection of the cultural heritage. Because once all these sites actually are damaged, the loss is, as you said, irreversible.
Sepideh Maziar, good to have you with us on the programme. Thanks very much for being with us, Sepideh Maziar there, senior researcher and lecturer at Goethe University in Frankfurt, founding member of the Society for Iranian Archaeology.